Welcome in, everybody. Listen, it's another wonderful day. Listen, we're excited about being on the blueprint. I'm your host, Pastor David B. Mills. Listen, I'm excited about being here. Our goal really is this. This is an empowerment time to be able to build up men in areas that we need. We build up men in the ideal relationship, finances, in the ideal leadership, but also in the ideal of parenthood. And so building on those things, but also help with business and everything else. So welcome into another opportunity to build with us. Let's build tonight. Tonight, we're going to be building with the ideal of ministering to and helping us be reach each other because we got an opportunity to be able to build on a lot of different areas. The way we do it is this: we build one in the ideal. We have a Facebook page, that's the blueprint. You can go to there every day as a man. You get encouragement, you'll get word, you'll get a quote, you'll get something that'll stir you up and push you. Then second thing we got is this YouTube channel. It's going to be blessing you by bi-weekly podcasts that go out that will minister to you, that you can go back and get some information, get some wisdom, and get some direction as a man. Then thirdly is the ideal of what we do in the ideal of how we get together quarterly in person. About quarterly, and all the brothers get together. We get leaders, business owners, counselors, and everybody together, and we get together as men and fellowship, but also get trained and get developed and get encouraged in these areas that are so needed. So again, Facebook page, the Instagram, you can go there to get that, but also on the YouTube channel. We want to be here with you. This is the blueprint. We want to help you build. Let's get ready to build tonight. I got some great guests. They're going to bless you. They're going to encourage you. They're going to build you up. And I'm going to welcome them in. And so tonight we got this incredible dynamic duo. These are the Selby twins, Kejuan and Tarron. Selby, welcome into the blueprint, fellas.
Thank you, Pastor Dave. Thanks for having us, man. It's an honor.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Hey, listen, let me give them a little bit about you, then we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm excited about who you guys are, your life, your walk, your integrity, your life, man, of how you live it out, and how it's been a blessing, not only to me, but everybody actually around me, my family, as well as the ministry also. Mm-hmm. So I want to introduce you to Kejuan Selby. He is 27 years old, and he's a fiance. That's right, ladies. He's already hooked up. He's fake fiance, all right, father, and also he's currently getting his master's degree from Arizona State University, set to graduate in December. Also is committed to mentoring the youth, coaching football, and coaching track. All right. Then his brother Tarron is also he's dedicated behavior interventionist specialist, supporting students and disabilities with a strong commitment to making positive impact. He also serves as a coach, trainer, mentor to many, and he believes his purpose is to be a positive influence for the youth, guiding them towards success as they aspire to achieve. In addition to his professional roles, he is also a devoted husband to Alexa Selby and a proud father of Enzo Selby. Welcome in, Selbys.
We here. Let's do it, Pastor.
Hey, listen, man, I'm excited about this time, man. So I wanted to create a space, man, where brothers could get together and get some information we don't always get. Stuff we might not get in the locker room. We might not even get in the boardroom. And we sure enough ain't going to get it on the street. But I need some stuff that's going to help me with the idea of what manhood is and what it looks like, how we operate in it, and all that kind of stuff. So help me. Here's my first question, man. Y'all can go whichever way you want y'all to lead out. But here's my first question for you, man. When you look out the landscape of the society and culture and that kind of stuff, what do you think about manhood? What's going on with it? What's happening with it?
I think manhood today is headed in the right direction. And I think because we have guys like you who came up with the blueprint and constantly showing guys and pushing it on us how to be positive role models and everything. So I think, of course, it still has its struggles. Men are still struggling with manhood, but I think that it's in a much better place than what it was. And I can see it continue to climb to get to where I know and we all believe it could be.
Wow. Help me out, Ken.
I agree with Tarron. I feel like in the past, you're taught to be so masculine. You're taught to you don't cry, things like that. Like it was just more so of the unknown. But now, as we're continuing to grow as a society, you see men starting to buy into therapy, buy into their mental health and stuff like that. So I, like Tarron said, I definitely think that we're going upwards compared to where we were in the past.
I think that's so huge on both parts, man, because from my generation to y'all, this is a different one. But watching the growth of it, and like you said, being able to be in touch, be able to deal with my emotions, be able to talk about it, be able to go to therapy, all those stigmas, man, that used to be on manhood don't have to be, and we can communicate a whole lot more than what we used to. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And what do you think about stuff like creating safe spaces for men to be able to do communication and that kind of stuff? What do you think about it?
I think safe spaces are spaces like this, like how we're talking now, or even like getting the guys together and just having these conversations over dinner or something. I know something that my brother and I do. We have a group of my friends, and once a month we go to Bahama Breeze. 9 o'clock. That's when it's half off appetizers, and we're just chopping it up. We're having those talks like, how
Wow.
are you mentally? How are you physically? How's your relationship going?
Wow.
So I think continuing to have these talks and check in as brothers, we're gonna continue to just build in the right direction.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Help me out, man.
I think safe spaces are very, very important. Like you said earlier, I have a fiance and I can talk to her all day. But it's like it's something about communicating with men, especially men
Mm.
that's older than you who have more wisdom and have more knowledge, and you can just pick their brain on so many different levels. So I think it's very, very important.
I love that, man. I love that. And I think, like you guys said, let me first celebrate y'all, man, for being able to come together and already having that somewhere y'all meet up, get together, talk about real issues in your life and that kind of stuff. Because I think that, man, any man that's trying to do this thing by himself, he's going to struggle. He's
Oh,
going to
for
struggle.
sure,
He's going to make a bunch of
absolutely,
mistakes, man. And I believe the cheat code to manhood is having a good father and having therapy and having some good friends.
absolutely, for sure, for
Absolutely.
sure.
I really do think it that with mentors and trainers, man, we can go further and we can be greater, man. Because even if whether you had it, now you guys tell me this, man, because you had the benefit of this. I'm some a little different than me, man. I came up as a single parent, home to project, that kind of stuff. But you guys came up in a dual in a dual family, and when your dad was there, what difference did it make that your dad was present? Help me out with that.
You go ahead,
It
Kejuan.
was honestly so special, but it's crazy. When I was younger, I didn't really notice it. As I'm older now, like the
Mhm.
support is crazy. Like I'm a coach, and like I'm a head coach of a track team, and like sometimes most of the time, like some of our fastest kids, and I'm like, yeah, your parents coming to the track meet today? They're like, no, they don't even know I run track. I'm like, you telling me you're the fastest kid on my team? You got Delaware Online and the News Journal coming to these track meets to watch you and record you, and your parents don't even know you run track. And that like blows my mind because my parents were always there. They were always present, no matter what other events they had or obligations they had. They made sure they was there. And like I said, when I was younger, I didn't notice it, but now I'm so grounded, and now that I'm a father, I want to be nothing like what I didn't see. Like my dad was the blueprint, and like I want to
Mhm.
be exactly just like that.
Awesome, awesome, man. Help me out, T.
That was a great point, Deuce. I love everything you said about that. And I will piggyback off of that is like working in schools, working with kids, you could just tell right away if a young boy has his father in his life or not. It's just about the way they carry themselves or the confidence they have when they speak or making the eye contact. So it's been a real honor to have my father in my life all throughout. And my father was there through every stage when I was a toddler, when I was a young teen, when I was a teenager, when I was in college. Like my dad was there. And I feel like it's so important now because now that I'm a father and I'm a husband, everything that my dad taught me and instilled in me, I can see myself applying it in my life now. It's some stuff I say to my son now. I would say it, then I go in the room and I'm just start smiling like I sound like my dad said that. Yeah, so I'm just taking little nuggets from him that he done taught me over the years, and this, and
Yeah.
like Kejuan said, it's truly special, man. It's truly special.
I think that needs to be heard, man, like with a volume so that guys understand. Hey, man, it's not listen, when you have this child and you bring this life into the world, you're responsible for it, man. You set an
Yeah,
example for it, you set a pattern for it. They're gonna want to be whatever you are. And that holds the weight on that too. Because now I
absolutely.
gotta live a certain way. I gotta walk a
Mhm.
certain way and that kind of stuff, even love a certain way. Because those pieces are all a part of laying that blueprint so that he can see what a man is in culture, what I am in home, what I am in a
Absolutely.
family, what I am and out in public, and so in society, and how to walk that thing out with character integrity. And I think that's totally different. So I salute you guys on that.
For
I'm
sure.
going to this subject now, man. When it comes to this area of relationships, man.
Mhm.
Woo! All right, bro, help me out because my kids be telling me, Dad, it's different out here in the streets. All right.
Hey, Pastor, I agree that it's different in these streets, and I'm blessed that I found mine in high school. Because it's different out here, man. It's like I talked to some of my single homies, Micaiah, for example. It's like, dude, I can't even imagine. It's just hard. It's hard to like look around and want to settle down because people are just on totally different pages nowadays, So my wife, man, I'm so blessed to have found her early, before anybody else got her because she's an amazing woman, phenomenal mother, and amazing wife as well. So, man, it's an honor to be married. People say I got married when I was 25. People say I got married young. I don't think that's young, So I feel like I got married when I was ready, and I knew that I was ready. So I'm just enjoying my soulmate now, man.
Wow. Help me out, kid.
Yeah, similar to what my brother was saying, it's a struggle, but I think it is because I think as social media is continuing to grow, comparison is the thief of joy. And I feel like guys and girls they're looking at Instagram and oh, I want my life like that. I want my marriage like that. I want to have children and raise them like that. But they don't know social media is only what people post what they want you to see.
Come
They're not going
on.
to post the argument. They're not going to post them scraping up money to go get some food that night. They're not going to post that stuff. It's what they want you to see. I mean, but like my
Yes.
brother said, like I'm truly blessed on who I have. I mean, my fiance Danielle, she bossed me up in every way possible. I mean, I'm back in school because of her. Had my beautiful first child because of her. Like I'm forever grateful. So I'm thankful.
I think that's so powerful, man. Because recently, man, I was struggling. I'm telling you, brothers. I was at this wedding, man, a couple of weeks ago, man. And you know how the part where the bride throws the bouquet back to the girls?
Yeah,
All right, so he was about to have it. Then he was like, all single ladies to the floor. Nobody came.
Wow.
I said, wait. I was like,
Wow.
that's the first time in 58 years I ever saw something like that, bro.
Wow.
So then they had to announce it 3 times. Third time, about 6, 7 girls came out to the floor.
Yeah.
The girl throws the bouquet behind her, right?
Yeah.
It's the first time in 58 years that thing hit the floor.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Wow.
They used to fight over the bouquet.
It used to be a rumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that told me that, man, something has majorly changed out there, man.
Yeah.
In the ideal of relationship and the ideal of marriage, the ideal of how they view it. I mean, I knew I was crazy when I came up, man, because I was a consumer of stuff. I was a conqueror, man, of things and women and all kind of stuff. I ain't know no better. But when I came to Christ, man, he taught me how to be a cultivator, man. I'm supposed to now cultivate everything that comes into my life. So I got to cultivate my wife, cultivate my home, cultivate my children, cultivate my world, cultivate myself. I got to water it and pour into it and build it and strengthen it. That's what it means to be a cultivator as a man. But I didn't know that. And I didn't know I was going to be somebody that's going to become a cover. Now I got to cover this woman, cover these children, cover this home. And then I can live this thing out as a king. So I would tell the brothers, hey, you got to be a cultivator. You got to be a cover. You got to be a king. What's some things you would tell guys, man, as they're going through these streets, all right, about what they need to be thinking and how they can think about relationships and that kind of stuff? What would you say?
I would say the biggest thing is having your list of non-negotiables. Like don't settle just because this is the cool thing to do, or my friends are getting married or engaged. Like truly wait until you find a person that meets all of your non-negotiable, whether that's 5 things or 20 things. You have to, because married, you're doing this for the rest of your life. So you got to make sure you're on the same page with this person. You got to make sure this person sees the best in you. She can't I feel like you can't just settle. You can't just settle because marriage is the real deal. It's the real deal, and this person is going to have your kids. She's going to be the mother to your kids. So you got to know what you're looking for. But I will even say, like, don't go looking for it. Like, let it come natural. Don't go seeking, or don't go out and I'm trying to find a girl tonight. Let it come for you. And a lot of times I see like the person that people looking for is right under them most of the times, whether that's a close friend or one of their homeboys, girlfriend's friend or something like that. So yeah, man, you don't gotta look far if you just open your eyes and pay attention.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Help me out, man.
Yeah, Tarron, he said it. I mean, go into it with a plan and don't rush it. I mean, it's gonna come to you. Before I met my fiance Danielle, Pastor, I lied to you not. I was in college. I was in college at Dell State University. I prayed every night. Yeah. I was a junior in college. I prayed every night that the perfect girl will come to me. perfect girl. She checks off all of my boxes. Come from a great family. She's respectful. And when I met Danielle, I knew that was God because everything I was praying about up until that point, that's who she was. So definitely keep God in it. Don't just go into it blind. Have your checklist and don't rush it. I mean, I see older people get engaged all the time, get married all the time. Like God, it's God's timing. At the end of the day, it's God's timing, and He's going to be the judge of who's the right partner for you.
I think you guys are right on it, man. And I think that sometimes, man, and I think there's I realize most of the issue I think is, and I could be wrong, that we got to think about 57 to 63% people growing up with single parent.
Wow.
So now, because those numbers are so high, I ain't seen it. I ain't seen it, man. And I know you guys felt this. My kids told me one time somebody asked my kids this. They went to the school and they said, "Is all y'all? Do all y'all have the same dad?"
That's funny.
My kids was like, "Yeah." They was like they was strange or something. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "No, this is the picture. This is what's supposed to happen. This is the blueprint. We're supposed to be able to be in place and build a family, build a destiny, build a legacy. And that's the goal of this thing. It's just not being out there doing what I want to do. No, let's get tired of it. While I get old, and people know. But the ideal is we got to build something with some significance and with some purpose in the ideal relationship. And it takes that. I always tell the people too, listen, you don't get the one you want, you get the one you work for. And I think some people don't want to do the work. Absolutely. I don't want to do the work. I want to hurry up and get this rock, or I want to hurry up and get this bag, or I want to hurry up and get this house. That ain't the relationship.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. No, the wedding was one day. What you do after that is really the marriage. And helping brothers understand that, listen, you can carry it, but it would be good if you get some counseling, you get some support, you get some people around you that got good marriages. You know what I mean? You can't be hanging around crazy people expecting to have a good life.
And people don't realize that relationships and marriages is a full-time job. So just how you go to your 9 to 5 and you clock in every day, you gotta go home and do that same thing. You gotta clock in. You don't get to go home and lay in bed and take care of the You need that attention too.
And I think that's why it takes that commitment and a covenant with God, man. I'm gonna need some more strength than my own. I'm gonna need to be able to say, God, help me today, help me through this process. We're gonna have moments and that kind of stuff. Yeah, but we can work through it. We can get help for it and that kind of stuff. But like you said, it's full time, man. Ain't no off switch. You got to be like, hey, I'm here. And even when I don't feel like being here, I'm here. And I'm here. I'm working through it. I'm walking through it. I'm going to love you in sin, through sin, and out of sin. I tell the brothers, you got to love her all the way through. You got to love her through.
For sure.
Edges and all the perfect imperfections. You got to love all that. And you got to be able to walk with her through a process because we got them too. We got our own issues, but we got to work together through that process and the ideal of building a relationship. Listen, I'm down to this, man. I tell the brothers, listen, this is my wife for life, man. To my last breath. And we're going to work it. I said, listen, we in this for the long haul. I want to set up my thing, man. I came from a broken home, so I wanted to build a legacy after me. And then my kids messing me up right now, man. I'm telling you straight up, they messing me up. They ain't ugly or nothing, but they just like, I ain't getting married till I find something like y'all.
Hey, there it is.
That's the standard.
I'm like, dang. Okay, it can work if you work it.
Hey, so Pastor, I'm gonna ask you this. Because you didn't have your father in your life, did you have like any like OGs that you were looking up to, or like any positive influences in your life?
I'm gonna say not till like in my 20s, man, and not till I got saved, man.
Wow.
I think the only other person that kind of threw me off was my uncle. I'm gonna be honest with you. I grew up with my mom, and I was at my mom's house. I was like the real Prince of Chester. I lived on the west side. All right. Then me and her got into it. We got into a good thing. We throwing our hands on nothing. I just got an attitude. She was like, "You go on and live with your uncle on the other side of the city." So I went over there, but my uncle was married, right? So and he was the first dude I saw that was married.
Really?
So here's what really messed me up, fellas. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I came down the second day and he was still there. I was like,
yeah.
Wow.
And he didn't know Jesus. He knew nothing about God. He just knew that I'm supposed to be here because I'm married. And I was like, this is different.
Oh yeah.
And then I think that then after that, maybe after I got saved, it was a teacher, man, that was from Philly, man. He was a pastor. His name was Dr. Rich. Never forget this cat, man. He taught relationship things and manhood things and that kind of stuff. We went out with them with their team one time, and man, I'll never forget it. This brother walked his wife up to the door, let her out the car, walked her inside, sat her down, pulled out the chair, dropped the napkin on her lap, then told her, listen, Maitre D came over, he says, she would like the brisket with this, that. And she never even said a word. And I was like, what is that?
Wow.
He's a
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I was thrown off, but getting in right environments, getting around people with right mindset, with purpose, that love God and got to honor it, want to honor their wife, want to honor their children, want to walk this thing out and be like I said, a cultivator and a cover, and walk this thing out as a king. Absolutely. It just made a difference for me. And even though I didn't get it to like 20 something, 25, 24, it's awesome, man. I didn't get married to, I don't think we got married to like 23, something like that.
Okay.
And so, but I needed that, man. Then what I did after that, man, I put myself in environments with men that were married.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because the other brothers, they chasing.
Oh yeah.
These brothers are standing. These brothers
yeah.
are standing. They're like, we ain't on the hunt for nothing, brother. We trying to make what we got better. We trying
Yes.
to build something. We trying to build something great that will last the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Like this is different. This was different.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like when my wife and I, when we got married, we were the only ones in my friend group that were married at the time. And we had a talk amongst each other, and we're like, we don't got to cut our friends off at all, but we got to start finding couples who are married to hang out with, you know? So I think having that mindset of just surrounding yourselves with other people who are on the same path as you, I mean, it's very important because you could pick knowledge and learn a few things, or just I don't know, just being on the same page as another couple and having those conversations, you know, I think that's very important in your journey.
Wow. Here's my second question to you guys. Thank y'all for that help on that relationship piece. The next one, man, is when it comes to leadership. When it comes to leadership, I think it's key. What does leadership look like to you guys, and what is it to you guys?
You want to go first, Liz?
Yep. I think leadership is about, being intentional. I mean, if you fake about it, they gonna spot you out. Trust me, they gonna know who's real and who's not real about it. Be intentional, know what you want. I mean, and you really learn leadership off of trial and error. If you walk into a room and you're not a leader, like I said, it's going to show. You got to walk in there with confidence. You got to and be demanding in what you're saying, what you're asking for. Hold your chest up, and that's how you gain respect from other people around you.
Good stuff. Help me out, man.
I love that. And this is a great question, Pastor. I think leadership is being consistent with it as well. You can't be a sometime leader, or you can't lead when it's only convenient for you. If you're a natural leader, you have to be that leader always, no matter what you're doing, whether it's the right thing to do, but you don't really want to do it, so you're not going to say anything. Like, that's not being a leader. You have to be a leader in your household, outside of your household. Like in my household, I always thought like being a leader or the man of the house was like making sure the doors are locked, or if I hear something at the door, like I'm the one that's gonna go check on everything. But my wife always tells me like I set the temperature in my house. So when I walk through the door, my wife and my son, their evening is based off of my energy when I walk through the door. Sure. If I'm walking in dragging and like, it's whatever, I'm gonna take a shower and go to bed, they feed off of my energy, So as a leader, if I know I want this positive household, I'm going to walk in my house and be in the best mood. I'm happy to see my family, and I'm going to show that to them and pour into them. So leadership comes in many different ways, but like Kejuan said, man, if you're faking it, they're going to see right through it.
I agree with y'all, man. And I think this is a season that we need it probably more than ever, brother. And one of the examples, or man, one of the definitions I have for a leader, man, is somebody that leads by example, somebody that has an influence, somebody that's willing to leave an impact in the right way, in the best way. Somebody that also can build the ideal of and build outlets, but also expands and exposes other people to being greater than what they were, and helps them with becoming what they are. And I think all those things, man, to the point that we create a hunger for their future, even in them as a leader. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And then living it out with, I think, integrity, like you said, consistency. I always tell the brother, I said, listen, boys do I's, men do T's. Accountability, responsibility, humility, all right, all that kind of stuff. We do it with T's, man. That's if you're gonna be a man, you're gonna have to do it this way. And when you do it that way, you can sleep at night, you can have peace in your relationship, you ain't gotta have no drama, nothing toxic going on, and it's just a whole different world. when
Oh
you
yeah.
lead right, because how we lead is going to be how we do our family. And it's in those
Yes.
decisions that we make. And even when we make the bad one, leading good enough to be able to come back and say, hey, babe, I'm sorry. That was the
Hmm.
wrong one. That's
Hmm.
leadership too. Even to the
Hmm.
point of repenting, when I do say, hey, babe, I was, my voice was wrong, how I got up, I got a little attitude, babe, I'm sorry for that. That's leadership too.
Right, right,
All
right.
of this leadership and the ideal of our world and our life, and it's taking that initiative to be able to walk in some places and lead. And it's also that place spiritually. I gotta lead. I gotta lead you in prayer. I gotta lead you to church. I gotta lead my kids to God. I want them to want Him, but they're gonna follow me if I follow Him.
Hmm.
In my own
I
life.
think I think another key element to leadership is being a good follower and know how to follow the right
Mhm,
people,
mhm,
And I'm not
mhm.
saying just follow anybody or these
Right.
negative influences, but there's a lot of great men out here, and it's like I look at my friends, my father, my coaches that I had growing up, and I pull something from each and every one of them because I'm a good follower, so that makes me a good leader when it's my turn to lead. So,
Wow.
you're not gonna come out the gate being able to lead a group
Right.
of people or a group of young boys. You have to watch.
Yeah.
And I know like my personality, I'm very observant. I'm like a fly in the wall in certain rooms, especially when the older generation is talking. I'm just listening. I'm like a sponge, taking everything in. And then when I go to work with these young boys or my athletes or my clients, I get to pull something from each person that I'm learning from and apply that to my leadership style.
I love that, man. I think and I think no leader ever stops learning.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that's the key, brother. I
Mhm.
listen. I ain't planning on stop learning until I stop breathing.
Mhm.
I mean that, and I want to be better than what I was last year. You know, what I mean, I might have been good last year, but I'm gonna be great this year, and I'm
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
better than what it was. My
Oh yeah.
competition is never another person; it's just yesterday's me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Man, so as a
Yep.
husband, as a father, as a leader, what I mean? How can I help make other people better? Who can I serve today? Who can I help today? I'm not even looking to get, I'm looking to give. And I think when that kind of mindset shows up around people, you come to make everybody better around you. We're not
Right.
competing. I'm gonna help you be better. I'm gonna help you
Right.
be greater. Why? I'm a leader, and that's what we do.
Yep.
The other area, man, I want you guys to help me with, man, is because this is one of the areas, man, that I think, along with relationships and along with the idea of leadership, that men we don't always get early. We definitely ain't gonna get it from school. This area of finances, man.
Mhm.
What do you think about this area of learning about finances and how it affects men?
I think one of the key things you just said is we're not going to get it in school. I can't tell you, I mean, up until maybe college where I'm taking a finance class because I was a business major, I never learned finances in school. So I think the biggest thing is educating yourself on
Mm,
financial literacy.
mm,
Um, Reading the books. I know there's a lot of great books out there. You wrote a book on finances. There's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read that book
mhm.
maybe 3 or 4 times. It's an amazing book. There's a lot of podcasts out there you can check out. I think having that knowledge about how money works and how to make your money work is very important. It's easy to talk to somebody and they tell you to invest or invest in these stocks, but if you have no clue what you're looking for, what you're looking at, that's not going to help you in any way. So I think just giving yourself that knowledge, man, you're only helping yourself. You're only helping your family.
Good stuff, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I agree. You definitely gotta expand your horizons. Life and finances is so much deeper than going to work every day collecting a check. You got to be able to want your money to multiply, be able to see it multiply through different avenues, whether it's stocks, invest in branching off and creating your own businesses. There's so much money out there. We just got to take it, but you also got to be able to understand it first. And like Scooter said, by understanding, you got to read, go on different websites. You got to ask questions of people who did it. Get a financial advisor if you have to, but you have to start somewhere because even if you are taught it, you're not going to be taught it to the point where you can be really successful with it to make a majority of an income.
I think you guys are on it, man. And I think that the key, I think there's some major key in our community where people struggle at because I don't get that financial literacy. Whether it's the idea of saving, whether it's investing, whether it's the idea of starting a businesses, whether it's the idea of creating streams of income, and then finding your gift, finding your talent. I mean, and then even monetizing that. What is it? What do you do good? That's like you find something good that you do. Somebody might pray for it. What are the service you provide? And many of us produce products, but we don't even realize we're producing stuff. And then we got all those things that we can do, but sometimes because he wasn't told that in school or told that somewhere else. And then sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know a lot of families that actually sit down at a table and say, listen, we're going to talk about financial, how to manage the checkbook, how to manage the bills, and how to invest, and how to be able to how to start a business, and then how to bring on staff, and what levels that go on with that. Because I really do think that employment is just a starter kit for finances.
Yes.
Right.
That wasn't the end place. That was your starter kit. That was so that you could have something coming in, then you could build with that. Whether it's your gift, whether it's your service, whether it's your talent, whatever it is. But I'm supposed to use this as the foundation to be able to build and start incomes and streams building on top of that. Then work on investing, then work on businesses and those kind of things. And I think sometimes our community sometimes struggle majorly because we just didn't have the insight, we just didn't have the wisdom. As a guy, sometimes I listen to, man, his name is D1. He says this crazy quote. He said, "I used to work for dead presidents. Now the dead presidents work for me."
Yes.
I said, that is the goal.
That's the goal. That's the goal for sure.
That's the goal, man. And so I can have my money now and work for me and work for the rest of my life, so I don't have to work for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that's huge in the ideal of that, man, and how that works out. And so I want to thank y'all for that. Now, this next one, both of y'all is early in this game, so I'm gonna ask you about this. Help me what it meant to become a father.
Oh wow, man, that's a great question, and I could talk all night about that one. Fatherhood is so special, man. It's so special. It's crazy. Every time I talk about being a father, people say I could just see your faces light up. It's so exciting, man. I truly love it. I truly enjoy it. I enjoy seeing what I'm capable of. I enjoy seeing myself just be a role model, like somebody that this kid looks up to. I have a son, and he's a daddy's boy through and through. Like, he loves his dad, and he's watching my every move,
Oh, yeah.
and I think the biggest thing I'm realizing is that I just have to be present,
Yes, sir.
like, he
Yes, sir.
doesn't care about me buying him toys, or he doesn't care about watching TV together. Like, I have to be present, like, he's constantly daddy, 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 daddy. And I could have a bad day out working. I could be like, not right now, son, or just pushing him to the side, but that's not fair to him, because he's picking up on all that. All this stuff is going to affect him in the long run, So I truly I truly love fatherhood. I truly enjoy learning new things every day, learning more about myself. I truly enjoy watching my wife be a mother, So have one son right now, but I'm excited for more. I don't know about 5 like you, Pastor, but I'm excited for more.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Help me out, Gig.
Yep, I agree, man. It's literally the best thing ever. I have an older sister. She has a son. My brother has a son, and I have a 1-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Right. I purposely didn't ask them for any advice on anything. I wanted me and my fiance to just go into it and figure it out ourselves, because I knew in the end that would make our bond that much stronger as well. Prior to having my child, me and my fiance Danielle, our relationship was good. But since we had our child, it's like through the roof now, man. It's great. My daughter Calix, she's beautiful, man. She's smart. Like I said, she's only 1 year old, but just seeing her feed off of my energy, man, it's like, and like, to fathers out there, like, don't just be present in your child's life and think that's enough. You gotta engage, man. Engage with that child, because that's all they want. When you see them, they just want to hug. Sit down and read to them. Like, engage with your child. Try to learn your child, because no matter they're 1 years old, 20 years old, they're teaching you something new every day. You just got to accept it for what it is. So it's definitely a beautiful thing.
Wow. Well, hey, look, I celebrate y'all, man. And now that you're a father, man, how's that changing the idea of how you make decisions?
I think every decision has to be a conversation with the child's mother, first of all, whether that's your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend. I think communication is I think it's a big deal with being a parent in general, and it's also the biggest hurdle. early on, I got myself in trouble in my marriage with just not communicating about every little thing. So like with me, I'm the type of person that like I'm just all about actions, like I just do stuff, get it done. Where my wife, she's more so like she gotta talk about every single thing. Like there's gotta be a plan, there's gotta be a process in place, and she had to see how we're gonna meet the end goal. So we had to find a way to how can we meet in the middle, how can we have this talk about it and get it done. So I think communication is so huge.
I think that's so key too, man. And I always tell the brothers this. I said, listen, the more you do communication, the less you're gonna do questions.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
I want
Oh
to be
yeah.
able to make sure that, and communication is how we give our heart, mind, and spirit to each other, and even how we come in agreement. Why? Because we can communicate that. Help me out, Gabe. What you think, man, about that?
Yes. So in decision making with having a child changes everything. Like I said, my daughter is 1 year old. The minute we left that hospital, our lives was completely different. We had to think for another person now. I haven't slept in since I had my child. I mean, like everything you do now is for that child. But I
Yeah,
think it's also important to still keep the main thing, which is that foundation of you and your partner.
you got to.
I think your partner has to still be first. I see a lot of couples go through slums and go through bad times because they think the child, the child, the child. But you got to realize, but for the child, who was it? You and
Yes,
your
sir.
partner. So you
Come
guys got to
on.
keep it that way, and you guys got to together collectively put your child first, but still understand my wife is superior, my husband's superior.
I think that's so good, man, because many times, and particularly in the culture we live in, it's about me and my baby. And I'm like, no, that's why it's going to be a problem. That's why it's going to
Yes.
be a problem because that the unity and it has to be the ideal of keeping that marriage together and keeping unity together. That means planning date nights and being consistent with it, making sure that you talk just as much to your wife as you do your baby. Praise God. And so it's real easy to get distracted with this little beautiful child that don't even want nothing, ain't demanding nothing. But then
Yeah.
your wife be like, well, your girl be like, hey, I'm over here. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the truth, Pastor. I know. When I first had my son, he's so cute and adorable, and you just kissing him all day. And it was one day I was laying in bed, and I'm like, I kissed my son more than I kissed my wife today. Like I'm okay with that. So now I make sure they get equal amount of kisses.
Smart man, brother, smart man. And literally, man, sometimes, man, literally, man, we had five, so that was woo.
Oh
I think
yeah.
back, that's why I ain't got no hair. But anyway, but I had to learn that, man, because again, man, I came up. My brother was 11 years older than me, so almost came up by myself. But I've been realized that when kids come, they're a beautiful thing, but you got to still keep balance.
Yes.
And you got to keep that priority of, hey, listen, we're gonna do these things, we're gonna take care of it, but then we're gonna have our date night, or we're gonna make sure, hey, I'm gonna take care of you, babe. And every now and then, I'm just gonna surprise you because you know what, I just love you, and I want you to know, I know we buying all this stuff for this baby, but you was my first baby. Praise God.
Sure.
All right. And then
Sure.
he or she gonna grow up and meet their baby.
Yeah.
And leave us.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I want them to leave and we still be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure that, hey, you know what? We still had our relationship. We still had a good time. We still maintained our marriage while we were raising these children in the midst of everything else. And that balance of, and sometimes it's, putting things on the calendar, it's scheduling stuff, whether it's date nights or surprises, getaways, whatever. But it's making that investment and consistently making that investment for balance. But
Yeah.
I sell it. Now, other thing I'm going to ask you guys this is, what difference does it make, man, to have your parents as part of your support team?
I think it's amazing, man. My mom always say, and I'm really not sure what she means by this still, but she always say like she love her kids, but the love she have for her grandkids is just different. And I can see that, like the way they're just there, for whatever my son needs, whatever my daughter's son need, whatever my brother's daughter need, they're there for. They're active in their grandkids' life, and it's just super helpful. I'm super blessed to be able to for my son to have both his grandparents in his life. So having my parents around, man, I just love it. My son loves it. He loves his P-pop. That's all he talks about. So it's just a blessing. And even with my wife and I, we're living in Philadelphia now. So I thought like it would be a struggle with us in a new city, and we have like no family close, like everybody's in Delaware, But like my parents, they're a phone call away, Like there's times where they'll just call it, like, "Hey, we're in the neighborhood, like, you got 23." Yeah, so man, I just I truly love it. I truly appreciate my parents, and I'm so grateful with the role that they play in my son's life.
That's
Mhm.
powerful. Help me out, Kejuan.
It's I think it's very important. You having a strong support system overall is important. It's having a child is hard. You can't do it by yourself. You need the people around you, and you also need time, just like I was saying earlier, for you and your partner. So it's
Mhm.
okay, mom, dad, can you guys watch Calyx for the weekend? Like that's okay because, like I said, having that time with your partner is very important. So I just feel like even like for me, I grew up in a household with my grandparents, and I knew that the effect that that had on me, just having like knowing that my grandma was constantly praying, my grandfather was always there, and I know that me knowing that my daughter is going to have that as well is it gives me so much satisfaction. Like I'm so
Mm.
excited to see her grow and get to know her grandparents on another different level. So.
Wow, I think that's so huge, man. My mom said one of them things, one of them quotes to me too, man. I didn't understand it, but I got it now. She said
Right.
this. She said when they small, they light on your feet, but when they get older, they're heavy on your heart.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
You'll catch
Wow.
that. If you ain't got it now, you'll get it later.
Oh
All
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. For sure. I'm with you. I'm with you when you're right.
You're like, wow, I didn't know. And then I think the wonderful side, and I think if brothers knew this piece right here, I think is important, is that, sometimes brothers think that if I have this child, am I going to be able to handle it emotionally? Am I going to handle it relationally? And do I have enough love for that? And what I found out is this, man, is it's almost like your love grows with every child. It's like God gives you more love with more people that
Mhm.
shows up in for your life because He
Mhm.
knows you need that love for them. And so all of a
Absolutely.
sudden you think, man, I know I love this person, but now I get to love somebody else. And out of nowhere, this another burst of love, another strength of love comes forth. You're like, man, I got a lot. I might not have strength for everybody else, but if
Yeah.
they need something,
Oh yeah, for sure. I
it's
think, Pastor, I think even with your love increasing, I think your emotions increase on a whole nother level
oh
now.
yeah,
Like I don't know, it's just crazy. Like when my son is sad, like I'm feeling that. Like when he's happy, I'm feeling that. So I think
Mhm.
I'm just so much more in tune with my emotions now and in my vulnerable side, and is opening up with my son and explaining feelings to him. Like he's 2 years old now. People say like terrible twos and all that. So he have his little temper tantrums, and I think the difference of manhood, to bring it back to what we talked about earlier, is like with my dad, it was like, man up, what are you crying about? Whatever. But I think now with my son, I'm able to now get down on his level and speak to him like, what are you upset about? What do you
Mhm.
need? How can I help you right now? So just
Mhm.
having that open communication with him, I would never have been that person. But now that I had my father love me hard, I'm able to
Mhm.
be vulnerable with my son.
That's good. That's good. How
I
about,
I I agree with that. I think having a child definitely expands and grow your emotional intelligence. You
Mhm.
understand more. Since I had my daughter, man, I'm a softie now. Like, like I'm telling you, I cried during movies now. Like I ain't never did that before. But it's like
Oh, good.
they just I can't really explain it, but they
Oh,
just
yeah.
help you see life so much different than what you've seen it before you had a child.
Oh yeah, man. I
Absolutely.
think it's probably one of the great things in life that will cause you to be humble.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
You'll
yeah.
be humble all of a sudden, man, and it's a wonderful thing. But again, it expands our love, expands our insight, expands our patience, it expands our joy. All of them, not one of them, but all of them to the idea of our world. And I think that's part of being that father figure, man. And I think so many times fathers don't get the right value of who they are. Because if I say a father is loving and the father is nurturing, they're like nurturing. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. When we hold them, when we care for them, when we pick them
Mhm,
up, we change them. That's
mhm.
all nurturing too.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and even though we may do it different than our wives, we're still doing it. And we're doing it the
Oh
way
yeah.
we would do it. And it's still part of that process, whether it's directing them, aiming them, whether it's, guiding them and all that kind of stuff. That's still nurturing and it's
Yeah.
still leading them in that process, man. So
Mhm.
again, I think it's so key for that. If you was to say, to encourage the young men of your generation and about some of these things we talked about, what would be your closing statement, man? What would be your closing statement on Blueprint, man? What would you guys say to some brothers?
I would say don't be so hard on yourself. I think where men struggle is the expectations that the world put on us. Like we gotta do this, we gotta be that. Like I caught myself being that person where like if I accomplish something, I wouldn't really celebrate it. I'm focused on the next thing. Like what's the next thing I can do? So I would say don't be so hard on yourself. Live in the moment. You're not gonna have it all figured out, but you have to learn. You have to be willing to learn. You have to listen to when the people before you, when they're speaking, you have to listen, and do not be afraid to apply what you're learning. Just try it. Just try it. If it works, you stick to it. And if it doesn't, then this doesn't work for me or my marriage or whatever, and you can move on and go to the next thing. But don't be so hard on yourself. You're gonna figure it out.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Help me
Yes.
out, man.
It's okay to make mistakes, learn through trial and error, similar to what Tarron was saying. You got to be able to absorb the knowledge and stuff that you're getting and release it to the world. I always tell myself, smell the roses. And as you smell it, that's just you soaking up the knowledge you got over the years. And then I say, now blow the candles. And you blowing the candles is just you giving it out to the world. Once you have the knowledge, I would say, I always had this model for myself: be somebody for somebody. You
Mm.
know, I think that's important to be a mentor. Like it's like I got all this free game in my head and this knowledge. I'll be selfish to not give it away. Like
Come
I will
on.
be me personally. I can't sleep at night with me knowing that I want a whole day without impacting one person.
Mm.
I have to touch, whether it's a child, I have to touch them in some way and know that I changed that person's life today.
Yeah.
It don't matter like if I'm driving, I'm at the mall, I'm at work. I know I meet a young man, hey, how you doing? And just to see that smile on that person's face,
Yeah.
because when you pass away, you can't take the monetary and materialistic things. What you have is people gonna remember you by the smiles that you put on their face at the end of the day. So like I said, just be somebody for somebody.
I love that. I love that so much too, man, because I think that many times people sell legacy cheap. And what I mean by
Yes.
that is they sell it cheap by just saying it's what the money you leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it's the love you left. I believe
Yeah.
it's how the life you
Yeah.
live, how you led your family, and then I think it's how you loosed other people or lifted other people in the ideal of your life. You leave that kind of legacy. That's more than money in the bank. And then if you
Absolutely.
lead them to the Lord, you done did the greatest thing that possibly be done.
Hmm.
So, man, I want to thank you guys, both of you, man, for tonight. Thank y'all for this time. Thank you for just empowering other generations as well as you helping me tonight, as well as many others. I mean that to be able to
Absolutely.
build brothers and realize that listen, we out here and we building. And this is the blueprint. We building 5 million men to love, lead, and guide 5 million women. I want to leave something big in this nation. I want
Mhm.
to leave a trademark and a trailblazer of what the kingdom and what kingdom men look like in the earth. And so thank y'all again for the night. Listen, if you want to catch up with us, we on Blueprint on Facebook page. We also on the Instagram. You can follow us on that. You get a daily download from that. And we also got the ideal of this YouTube channel to be able to pour into you bi-weekly. You get that. And then probably every quarter we have an in-person empowerment. These gentlemen are going to be joining us for one of them soon. It's going to be a powerful time of building men up. I don't know where other men go to get this, but we're creating that in the ideal that there will be a place where men can go to grow, to learn, and become everything we call. So we can be able to get the equipment to be the blueprint and build a incredible life with for the rest of our life. I want to thank y'all for the night. Y'all hold on for a second, man. We'll
Yep.
thank y'all again. We talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir.